please bring in the witness.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The witness is being ushered in.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Major Camara.
Thank you.
Before the break, we were looking at your confessionary video that was taken by GRTS and aired over the GRTS for the public to view. Before we let, yes, go ahead.
Numbara bake Mr. Camara, bismillah kamurunang CDRola. Janninga tal dahala ibediam kanung hanufo mfutata dinkirato damenga video bondi wato men ye video menta kala kumakanguluta ke funtindi GRTS bitungo video kola long wati stundron nata kachalo waleton tata dahala.
Before we left, you told us that the statements that you made on that video were false. Why did you make them?
We were told that we should, say them in the exact words that we said them. So that the president can pardon us, can release us. Because they were to convince the presidents that we were lodged into that problem. That he can sympathize with us and release.
And regardless of what the truth was, you went ahead and made those statements.
Yes, because each and every one of us was ready to leave to leave Mile 2 Central Prison to join with our families.
And after you made it and you realized that you were not released, how did you feel?
I was disappointed.
Is it your suggestion that you were hoodwinked, you were misled into making this public confession on the promise that you would be released?
Amunta yali nenele kali filindi puru kali bula nying kumafang fasong lufola puru nying kamala kafoko kali jikindi ko bali bula lale andung amanna keunya.
That's true.
But this confession was public evidence that you carried out, that you were guilty of treason.
Parvitung anataka nyameng aliyenyi menketeng hanifo ya fintindi amunta keta jamanya koto sede aleti ko alisontale ka aliyejam fajawoleke.
Was it led in evidence during your trial?
Amunta kule mnyintime ya lonko ya tele tambindi kake sede kuolti alla kiti okonobang nyim video nying.
Yeah, it was part of the evidences which were in the court.
So not only were you fooled into apologizing to Ajame, that apology was also used as evidence against you.
Amanda nyindamana kali nene pro alie bolo sayo di ya Jamila. Bara nataka nyimfanantiko yali filindile kali nene pro kake sedoti jamaa nyatili mula atella kulu kama.
Exactly.
Tell us, who was involved in this enterprise? Was it only the recorders of the video or other people?
Afanyin jumanyo le bulo be nyin do ko nyin fonkono amonta men ya ko nyinke ka record jumanyo le men bulo ba nyin mume kono.
I think apart from the panelists, it was a demand from the president. Because Kebadiba was part of the GRTS. And then GRTS, we believe, was center managed by the former president.
Who recorded the video?
Record.
Kebadiba. Where is he today?
I think I was informed that he passed away. May his soul rest in peace.
The panel members, were they aware that this video was being made?
Ibota kala male ko ibenyim video da kan ibada kan wato me bota kala male ba.
Yes, in fact the panel members were there when it was taking place.
Did the panel members know that you did not voluntarily say the contents of that video?
Wo nyininkar kafo wala o kisikisir lalo. Ya lonne bang ko ali kuma kangalu mennu fo amunta kuma le mo ye mennu dungali da amanka al fangol langani akumudi.
Probably some, of the panel members may know.
Who would not know?
The panel has people who at that time were at higher positions. They, at that moment of their service as part of the panel members, to the status quo ante that time.
Could you take that again? I missed something.
I mean, in those prevailing circumstances, there are some among the panel members having the position of influential positions. They can dictate the pace of the investigation. Those are the people I believe were in touch with the president. And even if they were not directly, in touch with the president, but there was a link. Because we have the like of Usman Sonko, the then minister. He was then the IGP. Was having a direct link with the president. And he also, Sonko has a direct link with Lantom Bantamba. Then he has a direct link with the Hydra within the panel. With few other elements. So for them, I believe they knew exactly what was happening. So to others, like the soldier that was having his weapon facing at me, may not know what was happening, what was exactly happening.
In a sense, you are suggesting to us that it was the top bra, the leaders, who knew what was happening.
Amunda ko ay nyine itandi ko wo kunkonyin menu ba kunna wo kunton ko lu menu bije woto wol yalo nenu membe keri.
You made it as if it's just a belief that you have. Do you know with certainty that this top bra knew exactly what was going on?
Ya itandile ko ila lanno ila talale ko bota kalamale bari bitum fa koyte male tonya ko nyimmolu ya lonne membe keri bota kalamale membe keri.
Yeah, let me just make a quick reflection of what I've said here before. Because I stated here that the young man who was obtaining my statement, from time to time, he will consult the panelists, the panel members. And he will come and tell me that delete this and add this. He was aware, he said, if you put these things, the president will pardon you. And then that was the trend, because all those who have spoken have pleaded to the president. So by that, the deductions that I've made out of that was certain that this was, an aspect that they have put in place to just to fool us. Once we have put this thing in, then the president would release us.
But you are not released in the end.
Exactly.
You were prosecuted.
That's true.
Can you kindly tell us the steps that were taken?
We've stayed in jail in Mile 2 Central Prison. Precisely maximum security unit. I was at block number 5. Stayed there for a period of that 90 days I've mentioned.
Just one intervening question. During that 90 days, how many times were you tortured?
Wotili tankonon to nyungu chokono ya ali tilimbalia sinya jelle wolem kali lipa.
I will recount two myself.
Fula.
The day Baba Sao slapped me. And the day, the night, Malik Jada and Amadou Badji hit my head against the wall repeatedly before taking me to the bidding zone. Those are the two occasions. That's the physical torture made on me. Psychologically, I can't count.
Can you give us an example of the psychological torture?
This is Santiago Dino Nale. Tajire ya men keta sondome batando ti sondome tajire ya me ya lekan.
Because mostly these the junglers and Umar Koli and others will come to prison to take prisoners out of their cells during the night. And then you can hear that trauma. You can feel it. That was inflicted on the inmates. Because at any time the entrance of maximum security wing is opened, you know that somebody is going to be taken away. People will come with broken legs. Who will come with, blood everywhere on their body being violated. So that alone is a trauma. Those who were there.
So, and this Omar colleague, the guy you call Jar Guide, he'd be the one to open the doors all the time? Is that what you said?
Omar colleague, Jar Guide. atelo moti ba men ka bunda lu yele wato bebang.
Practically, he was not having the key. But the prison officers were having the key. He will be with them to say, open this cell. And he will stand to wait till the person inside comes out. He will instruct for that person to be handcuffed. And then take away.
Would he know that the person taken away would be tortured?
For asikeko aya lonne ko ikanyimmen sambateng ibitali palale.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because when I was brought in the other night, it was Omar Koli and another person. I can't remember. Because I couldn't walk. So they were people who supported me on the other side of my soul. Took me to my cell. So when they opened the door, they just pushed me. I felt on the ground. And then I heard a comment from one saying that leave him to die there because he was the person who caused it for himself. So that was the burning issue of those days. Anytime, because if there will be no torture, you will be taken in the daytime. Anytime you are taken during the night, we all know that that person will be. Yes.
How about your colleagues? What you've just described, did it only happen to you?
No. It was something that almost everybody has gone through. Even those civilian components who were also arrested.
It was modus operandi of the panel. Would you say that this is correct? That the investigations were carried out by a panel comprising questioners, statement takers, and beaters, and confession recorders.
Yes.
In fact, you are saying there was a state apparatus to forcibly or falsely extract a confession out of suspects and broadcast it in public for the gratification of the president.
Puruka kumakan soto mo mutaringulu bulu me ya lonko ye inenele wala ye detendi puruka kumakan olufo nyin kamala isina fintindi jama juberu bunda la wala ka lamoy jamala karola nyimbe puruka president ojusolandi.
Yes. Also, there are practical examples where that happened. And that will suffice answer for you. The question that you have asked. There was an instance when the former IGP Usman Sonko, that I think he was, I don't know whether he was then a minister or the time he was making that pronouncement. He said that 5 inmates were taken from the central prison, Mile 2 Central Prison, and they were being transported to Janjambure. The vehicle involved in an accident had, somersaulted, which had, led to the escape of the the prisoners who were, the detainees who were being transported to Janjambure. That was a complete lie.
Why do you say that?
No, then we were all tortured. For us to, run, even to move with our own legs like that easily is practically impossible. You need to have support. And then, for somebody's hands to be cuffed at the back, to run away, from the securities without being caught. It's a complete fantasy. So you can see the way they can frame and paint a story about a person, which is unfounded.
Those 5 people, do you remember their names?
Yes.
Who are they?
NIA, Dabamarena.
NIA,
The armed forces you have.
So Jarola Carola, yeah, remember je,
001 Ba.
What's his first name?
Alphaba. Then you have Second Lieutenant Ibulo. You have Second Lieutenant Alaji Sise.
Lieutenant Alaji Sise.
Then you have Sergeant Malafikor.
And in Sergeant Malafikor.
Those are the 5. They were the 5 people who were taken away.
Did you see them when they were, or just about when they were being taken out?
Foye jele bang, wato meng ibe nyilu fintin di kang pour ke samba.
No, I did not. Because I could remember whether a day before or some few days before we were taken away. That was the actual day I was beaten seriously. One of my class told me that, look, we are coming for you, we're going to get you out from cells and we are going to kill you. And this was Mustafa Sane. So
was he a jungler?
He is a jungler.
From where?
From State Guard.
Where in Gambia did he originate from?
Mustafa Sane, I think it's in Fonyi.
I
don't know. I can't tell you the exact position.
Or is it from Kartong?
I don't want to
let's move on. Don't speculate on an answer. But just before these 5 individuals you mentioned were taken away, did they sustain any torture?
Yes, they were seriously tortured. They were seriously tortured. And that would not enable them to just run away in the eyes, of the security without them being caught.
What is interesting is that all of them escaped.
It has indicated to you, because that's why I said here. I said to answer that question, the government has state managed everything with regards to what had happened. If Sonko was to speak the truth at that time, he would have narrated everything as it had happened. But he did not. He painted a scenario which was completely out of context. Because when we had the announcement, we said that was not possible. No. I looked at my own. I cannot run. If I want to walk, people have to support me. You know, it's not possible.
We've received testimony from the junglers claiming that they executed them.
Na CDRO soro jongla solu fongolu bulujang ko itelle nyili fa.
Okay, that's true.
Daba Marena, he was NIA, one of the top NIA bosses at the time. How did he come to be arrested?
Daba Marena, atele mu NIA ulla moti me yalonko wato anatake kundon koti NIA. Sai, atenata dunyin koko no nyadi.
Well, I don't know, but like I've said here before, I said Nduru Cham, Colonel Nduru Cham, said that he has support from NIA, from the ministers, armed forces, and the others. I've mentioned that. So whether he was part of the operations, I don't know as at then.
But the interesting thing here is that some he did not name were arrested, and some of those he named were not arrested.
Men keta jakali koto jang. Ay tolu dolu menu fo yewolu muta. Bari ay tolu dolu fanalu fo men ya lonko imanna wolu muta.
Yes, that can easily tell you
how
adulterated how adulterated the whole investigation was. Because some people went and testified that they were part and parcel of the operations. They were released. I won't be surprised.
Like who?
Like one of my friends, he's late now.
Who?
That was Famo Jame. He was also a captain. He's my class in the armed forces. He mentioned that he has to control a portion of the operations area. Seen from Denton Bridge to State House. He was released from jail.
What's his name?
He's Captain Camara Trrc.
Captain Camara.
Any relationship with Yaya Jammeh?
Pani Yaya Jammeh denta kula lebang. Badiyato.
No, what we had that this Camara, he's a friend of mine. We stayed together. His sister was married to Malia Mungu Musa Jammeh. Musa Jammeh was very, very influential.
Was Malia Mungu involved in the investigation?
Malia Mungu dung afananda be o kisikisiro konol nu.
Malia was most of the time at the conference hall.
Malia jama katara conference hall on kono jele.
Where what?
Where the panelists were seated. The fear factor that people used to have about Malia was very, very open to everyone.
But those who were in the panel were far superior to him in the service. Why would they be afraid of him?
Many alonko la palaso le fons seletate la palasoti. So muna nebe sila lala.
Let me give a practical example for you to understand. The junglers are by far very junior.
CDS.
They can come during those days and pass instructions. Nobody will alter it. That was the status quo, prevailing circumstances then.
Let's get that straight again.
Yes.
Rewind.
I talked about the fear factor. I said the panelists, you are saying whether the panelists, there are some part of the panelists who are senior to and that Musa cannot pass instructions to them. Or why do they have to fear Musa? So I'm making that comparison here. Bring a better understanding of what was happening then. A jungler in those days and even pass instructions to the CDS. That was the fear factor then. Because the junglers were directly connected to the president. Musa Jammeh was directly connected to the president. So even if the president probably did not say something and they said, that will be actualized. Because already that notion has been built in place already.
In fact, you are saying that in spite of the de jure arrangements, the de facto power lay with Musa Jammeh Malia Mbungu at that time during that panel investigation.
Even fokanko koluni lanya nyaunyandi nyama ye tembendi nyaunyandi nyama bari Musa Jammeh Malia Mungu amunta atemu moliti me ya lonko anin sembe bale be wonyin wo kisikisir lalu kono wo tembo.
Yes. Musa Jammeh Solbaji Mbultamba were very influential.
Influential or powerful?
Yeah, powerful.
So after all this, you have been tortured. You are being now taken for trial.
Yes.
Where were you tried in the first instance?
High Court, Banjul.
What can you tell us about that trial?
Yes, after spending 90 days in jail, we were asked to find, lawyers to defend us. In fact, we were arranged before the court. Then we were asked by the judge whether we have lawyers.
Who was the judge on this occasion?
Commonwealth Judge Munajen. I think Munajen. Commonwealth Judge Yes. We said we don't have any because we are just from jail and being brought into to the court. So she instructed we should be allowed to have visits so that we can our family members can look for us. I think that was the time we were given visit. So we are able to contract lawyers. To cut the long story short, I was able to have lawyer Jobate as my lawyer. He was paid by my younger brother in installment form. Then during that course of trial also at the High Court, my defense lawyer Jobate was stopped. From time to time was stopped. Visit me in jail. Yes, because for them, who was doing that effectively? Was this Omar Koli, Jagai?
Umar Koli di kaf me Jagai.
Jawa guy was making things very difficult for
Jagai mun keta molde me alon ko ay kul kolandi bakelen.
We understand that he's reputed for usually saying a particular phrase, a particular statement concerning mercilessness.
Yes.
Ngin kibaro soto ko mole me ya lonko nyimu adakono ko mole ta dalta fulale puru ka kuma fo me ya lonko dimindir ko mole moti.
I think he used to say whether those who were against us will treat them treat the mercilessly or what? Those who are against the government, sort of. Will I forgot completely, but he used to say what you have now said here.
No mercy for the merciless.
Exactly, no mercy for the merciless. That's what he used to say.
Did he stick to that?
Yes, up till the time Commissioner Anti flushed him out from mile to return to his place, State Guard Battalion.
What does Jagai do at the moment?
He is currently serving at Defense Headquarters Camp in Yundum.
Defense Headquarters Camp,
that's where he is.
What is his relationship with those soldiers to whom he was saying there is no mercy for the merciless?
Let me just take a particular example. That is myself. Umar Koli. While I was in jail, I believe now he's looking at me. I've advised him on serious occasion that you have to be very, very careful. From the look of things, I strongly believe that we will one day come out from jail and then we'll work with this present government or another government in the armed forces. I've said this to Jagai not only once. I used to advise him, but to him probably he was thinking that I was just talking. I could remember he used to have problems with family members. Jagai would force them to go and stand in the rains while it was raining. Because they are he said, no mercy for the merciless. So he has extended this to our family members. Jagai will ask our family members to go across the highway. They had come to mile 2 to visit us. Jagai will say, today they will visit. When our family members had woke up, early hours of the morning to visit he will wait till maybe they spend another 2 hours at the gate. He will pass instructions that no visitors for the family members.
Are you suggesting that Jagai had a say on who received visits or not? Wotembo ay kango sotonde pour kafo jumanyo lela molu nyante kumpa bola aning atete sonna jumanyo lela molu yala jumanyo lela molu samari kumpa bo.
Yes, very well. Very well.
He had the authority to stop your lawyer from visiting you?
Ay nying kango sotole asembo pour ka kuntu ila lawyer nyata pour okane eteje.
That's true.
Where did he get that authority from?
Ayo sembo soto mintole.
It's a self-assumed powers because of his connection to State House.
State House.
So he is acting Or he was acting rather. Because of his connection to state guard and anything that comes from him,
state guard, it was
believed that it was coming from the president. Okay, so that was it. Jagai was behaving in that manner. And your question whether what is his relation with those officers and soldiers? He had treated in those. Let me give you this piece of event that had happened. There was, I think, on 2 occasions, Jagai came to Defense Headquarters, Banjul. And he came to my office. We were chatting, normal chatting. And then I offered him breakfast. And he was the one who was denying us breakfast outside. I asked my orderly to prepare tea for him. And we bought bread and gave it to him to eat. This had happened on 2 occasions. So just to tell him what he was doing, and what I told him now prevailed. Humanity, one has to be very careful.
Would you say that he was a humane officer?
No. He is not. Because with the advice that I've given him would have sufficed for him to change. That was the time Jagai was treating us ruthlessly. Yes.
Okay. So you are now taken before the High Court. Did your case proceed to conclusion at the High Court?
Yeah, Lisamba High Court. Silang Allah kito tatale hanfo akbanta fereng High Court bang.
No.
Honey.
Because the DPP was not prepared for the case.
DPP mantra pare nun case nyinda.
They had scanty evidences.
I could
remember Munajen was telling the DPP, if you don't have substantive evidences, for you to proceed with this case, it's better for us to stroke off the case out of the court. She has said that to him. And there will be instances where the DPP will be addressed by the judge, and that which had indicated the dissatisfaction of the judge regardless to how things were going then. So when the DPP when the DPP realized that he cannot go further, I think they opted to struck up the case. The High Court. Therein, that was transferred to Yemua. Is Yemua the Ghanaian Commonwealth Judge?
Inarana case transfer Yemua for Ghanaian Commonwealth Judge Odolem.
I think she only presided over the case once. Then said that the court has no grounds to decide our case at the High Court. I think the case was transferred to court martial. During this period of the High Court also We have problems, but our family members also have problems. Our families at times will come to court and they will deny to go enter. A lot of...
Let's take that again. There are no secret trials in this country.
Yes, but they are denied to come in to the court.
Who would deny them?
The case, this that May 21st, foil coup was something that was taken by the government. Seriously, and the apparatus that they have put in place to ensure that it was checked properly and see what they have opted for prevails. And they realized that it was not going to the direction that they intended it to go. All obstacles were put in place to frustrate us and our families, including our families. So at times, people will come to jail, to court, and they will say they cannot enter. My wife will cry all over the place. I used to tell her that, look, one day I'll be out. So those are the kinds of, look at somebody who woke up, let's say 3, 4 a.m. Then leave your place. Come and see your husband. You cannot see. You were having a baby then. It was very terrible then. Jagai and others will be frustrating our family. It was not only him, but it was stage managed. Tumbul Tamba and the gang. Musa Jamme and the groups. Usman Sonko and the groups. They were all in to frustrate us. It was like there's somebody who is having a problem with the former president. The intention will be how best to crack down that person. Methods that they would put in place in order to crack people down. Some of these things that are mentioned here now.
Okay, thank you very much. And then your case was eventually transferred to the court martial.
Yes,
from the High Court we are acquitted and discharged.
If you were acquitted and discharged, you could not have been charged again at court martial.
Did the
court judge say discharged or acquitted and discharged?
We are acquitted and discharged from, it's the technicality that I want to bring in here.
Yes,
we were acquitted and discharged from the, from the High Court. If my memory could serve me well. Because if we are acquitted and discharged normally, we shouldn't have been arrested again.
For the same charge, for the same charge.
But ours was a different thing altogether. Immediately we left the corridors of that, High Court premises. We were asked to join the Trrc. We were taken to State Central Prison, Mile 2. Mile 2, we were taken to our individual cells.
Mile 2,
I think, was it on Monday or another day? Major, I think he was a major then. Major or a lieutenant colonel?
Lieutenant
Colonel.
Mendy, SP Mendy.
SP Mendy.
He came to Mile 2.
Mile 2.
And then we were asked to come out. That guy and his group came to the jail, to maximum security.
Maximum security.
Took us out to the conference hall. There we met SP Mendy. He said to me and others that your case has now been transferred to court martial, general court martial, which is going to be held at Yundum. So he said the convening order for that.
Sorry. Convening order for that.
We have to sign that we have received it. We have received the document that will now establish the court martial to be instituted. So I told him that I cannot.
Why?
I said I can't, receive a document from you directly without the presence of my lawyer. No, he said to me, Bawasa, you know what is happening or what was happening. You know exactly what I'm saying. You know it far better than. So please help me to sign this document. I said I'm not going to sign it. So, but what happened? I think my counterparts, when they came, he read to them. They signed. So I also signed. And then we were arranged before the court martial. In the morning, they will pick us from Yundum and will be taken to the court martial. Jagai said we supposed not to meet with our families there. There also I addressed him. And I reminded him of what I've said to him before. There was an instant he had a problem with General Aliuba. It was towards the end of the sitting that day. And then this bar wanted to speak to his wife, I believe, or his uncle. Jagai denied. And they had a tussle sort of. So when we went to mile 2, I advised him seriously. Then because also during the court proceedings at the court martial, we had a trial within trial. And that trial within trial was to establish whether the statements were taken under duress. Then I have my brother who testified and that of my wife who testified. At the following day, I had, an advice. Somebody came to me and then told me that you have to be very careful with the way you are having problem with Jagai here. That your wife is always also having a problem with Jagai. Guys will not mind to kill your family. I said, okay. So we were like that. The judge advocate.
What was his name?
Pakbele is the DPP. Was the DPP rather.
Both of them from which country?
From Nigeria. And then you have this man, Lieutenant Colonel Fofana. Was the president of the court martial there.
First name for Fofana?
Fofana, I think it's Brian Fofana.
Sajo?
Sajo Fofana.
Sajo Fofana.
He was the president of the court martial. And he has his other, members.
What was the conclusion of the voir dire, of the trial within the trial?
Yeah, it was ruled out that it was not taken. The statements were not taken under duress.
Well,
you can see what God can do. When they lied against us during that moment, those people who were concerned, who were part of that, were also arranged before. They were also, brought into prisons.
Who were they?
Lang and the group.
Lang who?
Yes, Lang Tamba. And then when those people also came, it was the same state-managed witnesses. Also stood and testify against them. Their statements were taken. Jurors. Yes. That is why it is good to tell the truth.
But the thing is, you do not know for certain that Lang was complicit in getting the false statement or the false confession out of you.
Bari amang koy makoy kenatuñ kene ko landa be fero kono le men yakendi yetela o kumolu ta mantoro kono.
Let's move on if you don't have an answer.
Yes, I have an answer. You see, having spent 9 years, 4 months, 13 days in jail, will make you to understand those that you are dealing with directly. You can read the mindset of people. My interaction with General Lantombo Ntamba has given me a clear picture of who he is.
Let's keep it objective and not personal.
No.
Ngata silo la me yalonko wole mkulu lanya ni Kenyati nkanata ko mfansunku.
I'm very objective here. You see, Gambia, we have contributed. At times we will blame the president. It's the people who are surrounding the president. I think I will talk about that in the others probably.
But on this particular issue,
this particular case, like I said, those guys who were hired to be independent witnesses were not independent witnesses because they were not there at the time we were making those statements. They were just being booked or being hired to satisfy that procedures.
So in a sense, these are independent witnesses for hire, ex post facto.
Amunta nyil musedo leti ye menu nati fero kono ke isondi wala ka fendi la puri lo ka sede aro ke kula me yalon ko amanke nyala.
That's true.
That's a serious accusation.
I
am not. In fact, I'm not accusing them, but that's the fact. That's what they did.
So, in the other case, you're suggesting that it's the same set of independent witnesses
that was used, that were used against them.
And how did they plead to that? Did you get to hear?
Yes. that it was not true. But all those people were saying we have, mere fabrications against them. And the time we were tortured, they could have stopped it. We were beaten and they were witness to that. And when they were also beaten, we were also witness to that.
When who were beaten? You answer?
Lantombo and the others.
Did you see that?
Yeah, there are marks all over the place.
Did you see them taken out?
Yes. We are all staying together at maximum security wing. At times not in the same block, but anything happens, you are bound to know it. Because you are living within the same place with them. I started with block number 5. And the time Lang was brought in, then I was in block number 4. So for the court martial procedures, we were there. Verdict was done. That our claim, the statements we are taking under duress was thrown out. And the submission of DPP was withheld.
Upheld?
Upheld, rather.
So, Inatata.
And we continued.
And how did the court martial end?
I was found guilty on 5 counts.
And yes.
And was sentenced to life imprisonment.
How did it feel?
Normal. Because when my family members were crying, I told them that I'll be coming out. Because I told them that, yes, this was what they have stated. But what will happen will be different from what they have said. Then I have, the belief that I will go out. So I told them not to cry, let them, have that belief that we will come out one day, inshallah.
But you committed the most heinous crime, which is an attempt to overthrow our constitution. And the fitting punishment is? You agree?
That life imprisonment? I have no problem with that.
Thank you. Tell us about life in the prisons. And in particular about the conditions of the prisons.
Life imprisonment was terrible. Was terrible in a sense that, even the prison authorities were there to ensure that the dictates of Jammeh, the former president, prevails. And they will do everything possible to crack down those people that they think are strong elements within the society.
Are you suggesting that Yaya Jammeh used the prison as a tool to break down his opponents?
Yaya Jammeh kasoke ala joranniti pour ka nyo saba nyolu tilimbalia.
Yes, that's true.
Did he have a name for it, as far as you can remember?
His 5-star hotel.
Afo jene 5-star hotel, a 5-star hotel.
Yes. Was it a hotel?
Hotel ole dum mujeti bang.
Is it 5-star in cruelty and 5-star in difficulty?
I'm happy to hear that word. I think 5-star in cruelty. That will be apt for the name.
Wolem sanji lulu tajireya ngalong wolem toti menyanta lola je kunna.
Yes. Can you describe the conditions?
For kolbe je nyamin wol fo nyembang.
The maximum security wing
Bunda me kafje maximum security wing
is a place
je mudin reality
where
damen
the security elements are normally kept at.
Damen kanta bunda la molu ikawolle sambaje.
And also
anim fanang
hardcore prisoners
men ketak mo kolengoluti kasokono
are transferred to.
Ikawol fanalu saundi jele.
It is a place
Jemudin reality
where each block
block wo block
has their individual cells within.
Ye fansun selo lesoto konoto je.
Except block number 7.
Na manke block woro wulanjangoti block number 7.
I was made to understand that block number 7
Nata nyim fahamu ko wo block number 7 wo woro
annex
jemu bundaleti
to the main yard.
Me yalon ko be chokirin kasola korda bale bala.
So you have block 1,
block 1 bije,
you have 4
bije, nani njang, lulu njang 5.
Those are the maximum. Those are the blocks within the maximum security wing.
Wolem blocko luti men be nyin kanta bundala kolu koto.
But then within the parameters of the maximum security wing, also you have block number 7.
Bari bunda me yalon ko wolem maximum security wing.
Let me take you to block number 5 where I've started at.
Ngata block number 5 lulu njangoto nteke folota nundameng.
Block number 5 has 99 cells.
Block number 5 wo bunda cell tankononto ninkonontole bije.
If you come to the entrance of block number 5,
ni nata block number 5 la dato
to the extreme end of that row,
wo temberi wo bun menu be temberi je al dandulato
facing towards the east.
Membe tilindi tilibola.
The last row is where it's called Kampama.
Borindi labango nyingi ikafujele Kampama.
Kampama row is where you have the sick people and the mad people at.
Wo borindo wo Kampama row ika kumandi Kampamala sasa tol ni nyama tolu be odinkiral.
Those who have tuberculosis were there.
Many along konyin toto jawo bela be TB ibe woleto.
Those who were mad also were there.
Menu fanal mu nyama tolu ti ul fanal be o ma fango.
And any other diseases, those are where they kept them at.
Ani sasa wo sasa na lokuta mo mai ke samba odinkiral.
This Kampama block was where I was taken to.
Kampama borindo yente samba woltono.
And this Kampama block was where many people were also taken to.
Adu Kampama borindo yemo jamale fanan samba.
Because cell number 5 was saturated, was full to capacity.
Kadu cell number 5 wolen cell lulu njangoti wo fatale fa deteta.
During the first 1 to 2 weeks of the arrest of March 21st coup d'etat.
Kabo lum folo fo kata lulabango March karotil muanin kilin coup d'etat ye molu nati jele kaje fandi fa deteta.
So they did not check, they did not look into the aspect of the health condition of the cells, whether they are good to, to put in somebody there or not.
Manjata kenda la kujube je de woselo la karola foka fo jambete atale pour que hadama dingo dundi jang etel mo hani ojube fa.
If you go into some of those cells, you have human feces around.
Ni dunda woselo dolu kono hadama dingo la kene totalu be woselo lu kono je.
You had blood stains, at this, at the walls of the cells.
Yelobe maring bumbalo dolu la selo lu dolu kono.
Mucus been spitted all over the place.
Anim fanang hakobe bumbalo dolu bala dinkiral to kata o selo lu kono.
So the concern of Jagai and others in those days were just to, put in those, people who were arrested and then put them in those cells.
Jagai na kafunyolu. Ite la solo momenti nundoron otumo.
Mosquitoes.
Are you suggesting that hygiene, cleanliness was never a consideration?
Senea anin ka dinkira la janko wol mu kulleti tel buka hani mem mirafang.
Absolutely.
Wala mtonyati kay.
Proceed.
Tanteng.
The cells which are situated in this block.
They have
a steel door. And an aperture in the frontage. 15 centimeters square, sort of.
15 centimeters square.
And the back that is facing the east will have maybe 30 centimeters. So inside the cell, I don't think it's more than this wide, 2 meters.
2 meters.
And then you have a slab. That's where they place the mattress, the small mattress. There is this small, open there where we used to pray. Each and everyone can pray inside your cell. And there is a cupboard sort of, which was raised by a cement block.
That's
where you used to place your chamber pot under. And when it is, in the hot season, it's very terrible there. Because if you are praying, where you stand will be, wet with what, sweat. You will place your hands at will be wet with sweat. Your forehead also. And if you are doing zikr, you are doing the tasabi, everywhere will be wet.
Are you suggesting, therefore, that the ventilation is bad?
Very, very bad.
Let's talk about the food. How was it wholesome? Was it nutritious?
Very bad. In our early days in jail, David Colley was trying to satisfy the wishes of the former president. It was a punishment for all of us who were brought in there. The lunch will be ready maybe around 11, 12 in the afternoon. They will leave it there at the cookhouse till around 7 something. The Maghrib prayers, that's the time they will bring lunch. That's the time they will bring dinner together with the lunch. The dinner will be couscous, this chere. And then it's unfortunate if you are eating that thing, you will be just, it will look like you are eating sand. And then for the lunch, this fish. It's not good, it's spoiled. They will fry it till it is completely, dry. It will look like fish cake. And that is what we are going to serve it. At times there will be no vegetable on the food. So that was the treatment up to probably 1, 2, 3 months in jail. And there was this breakfast that they serve. It was also made out of goose. We call it pap. People who are fond of eating that much end up catching beriberi. And beriberi kills. Because if people see you your body is signing.
They
say, oh, you are living good.
Just put your
finger, and then touch the person's leg and push it inward. It will go. So that's the time we realize the symptom of biribiri. If you don't be careful,
in one word, how would you describe the conditions at Mile 2 prison? In one word. Terrible, nightmarish, difficult.
I think the cruelty that you use. We can see the admin body, the leadership was very, very cruel and callous to the prison inmates. David was not after the welfare of the prisoners. He was only after his own development. How best he can enrich himself.
Why that word? How to best enrich himself?
Yes, why do I have to say that? Because I believe the things that are meant for the feeding of the prisoners were not spent as how they should be spent. Because if you are bringing, spoiled fish, the money that is meant to buy good ones, has been used for For instance, the issue of bringing a dead bull to jail.
Was that true?
It's a fact. Musa Suso wrote about that. And then Musa, when they were making cell inspection, he was arrested because of that.
Did you partake in the carrion, in the rotten meat? Did you eat it?
For the meat, I don't. For the fish, there is no way, because you have to survival drill in Mile 2. We realize the food is not good, so we keep fast. So we keep fast for 2-3 months. Because, at night when you will be hungry, you can eat and do your prayer sleep. If you cover your basin completely, you will have a problem, because you have to hold your nose. When you will be polluting everywhere. So if lunch is served, what you do, you open it so that air can enter. Then when you break your fast, you can enjoy it a bit. But if you mistakenly cover it, when you open it, that's the way we were.
And you were subsequently released after serving a little over 9 years. How did that happen?
Before then, during the court martial, I could remember the judge advocate, Ajim, because myself and Yaya Dabo, we were continuously complaining about our health conditions. We should be taken for medical attention. I think it was persistent. The complaint was persistent. And finally, Ajim gave an order for us to be taken to Royal Victorial Teaching Hospital. So this order was passed. Umar Koli decided to take us Because it was given to him initially, he failed to observe it.
Yeah,
2 weeks later, it was given, the instruction was given to him, he failed to order, observe it. So the last one, Ajim said we should be taken by all means. So that guy waited till after, I think, close to Juma prayers. When the doctors would have been home then. That's the time he took us to the hospital. And then he cuffed our hands behind again. Myself with Yaya Dabo, Captain Dabo, we were taken to Royal Victoria Hospital.
Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital.
So we went there. We did not find any, a doctor.
You think that was a deliberate ploy?
Yes, it was.
To make sure that you get to the hospital, but you receive no medical attention.
Exactly, because I think he was fearing for us to have documents that may have, a link with our torture. He was there to ensure that anything that we can have that would serve as substantial evidence for our case.
Andu ningo kaitoli aitandi ko yentelu butele wala binakela sede ya roti intella ko nyindo.
We do not have them.
Bitong ala fero munyendi pour atele intel kana o kaiti façon soto.
But still with this court martial, you said it was presided over by Ajim.
Iko nyin court martial sojar kito nyin Ajim wala sita kuna.
But Ajim was a court of appeal judge. Wasn't he?
Atamu kiti sankam bunda kiti ndirlalti.
That's true.
Mutonyalti.
And he was made judge advocate.
And in attack kiti ndirlalti woko kuna.
That's true.
Is it in fact the case that the case was transferred to him as a judge from the Court of Appeal sitting on the High Court to deal with the case?
Ya kemoleti me ya lonko utumo ye kito nyin sainkan ka bondi kiti sainkan bundala waira atamu moleti mem kasi fana o kiti bundala ka High Court la Carola pour kana o kito luchika menkata court martial nyindi kawlu diatela.
You missing the point. Initially, okay, let's take it step by step. Ajim was DPP.
Ajim lom DPP.
Wasn't he?
Well, he was.
And he was kicked upstairs to become Court of Appeal judge.
Yeah, samba sando kake kiti sankambunda kiti ndirlati.
Correct.
And during your case, he was brought down to High Court to preside over your case.
Allah kito kuna ya jindi nang High Court pro aisi Allah kito kuna.
As what? The DPP?
As the as the judge.
Kake kiti ndirlati.
No, at the High Court.
The High Court, this Muna Jain was there.
Yes, but it was transferred to Ajim.
Ajim, okay.
And the lawyers protested.
Exactly, I could remember that now. Yes.
They challenged Ajim as judge for that particular case.
Yes. That's true. And
because at the High Court, you can challenge a judge for bias or things like that, correct? So they discontinued the case at the High Court and transferred it to General Court Martial.
General Court Martial.
And the Ajim who was objected to at the High Court was designated as judge advocate at the Court Martial. Isn't that what happened?
Exactly what happened.
And you cannot object to the judge advocate. Would you call that the standard or the best example of a mercenary judge? It's just a question.
Kitindirla me ya lonko aka kito ke jenko silo le kang. Fabe kela kiti fason kitindirla fason.
Yes, that's a practical and a best example of a mercenary judge.
It looks like the odds were stacked against you.
Amunta bitung yekulu kumbenke parendi ite kama mensi batandi.
The state was going to ensure your conviction no matter what.
Amunta mansaparetal nundoron kajeko yete sorong aketa nyaunyandi nyama.
This is your view.
Nyina mwila jerotino.
That's exactly the way I was thinking.
And you were sentenced to life imprisonment.
Ngaje wale nyama between ate sorong isioto kasola.
And you served 9.5 years.
Inata taraje sanji kononton intalantemu.
What happened? How did you come to be released?
Munaketa inate bula nyadile.
It was on July 22nd.
July 22nd.
Celebration.
Jural lungo.
Yeah, 2015.
2015 sango.
When the president was making a nation arrest.
Yambo menda banko president o tarta diamu kam banko be.
I was told because then I was sleeping. No, because after my nafila prayers, I used to go and sleep. So I was sleeping when I heard noise all over the place. Inmates were just, hitting the doors. And we are saying that you are released, you are released. So I woke up. And then I asked what was happening. Then Ablai Sonko answered. He said, no, Lamin Jah.
Abdullah Sonko Jabira ko hani Lamin Jah.
It was Lamin Jah who said,
Lamin Jah ko,
sir, you are all released.
Kanyi sa yalbe bulale.
I said whether that was the noise all about. I said before you start, making noise, why not you offer 2 rakas for the Almighty Allah who has made it? And that's the way, I think they had stopped the beating of the doors.
We received an interesting story.
Kuma soto jam menketa sedandir kumoti.
That when it was proclaimed that you were released, somebody said, no, you will only leave the prison on the Friday.
Mo soto nta menko alabo kasola jang atekeno la fo ni jumalungo sita.
True or false?
Tonya fo tonyande.
Yeah, Sereng Umar Fala, I think.
Yes, Sereng Umar Fala.
Because why we had come to that. He made this pronouncement during the July 22nd celebration, which was on Friday. Sorry, on Wednesday rather. So Wednesday we were there. You see, prison officers there, they are good people when they realize that good will happen. So that day, those who supposed to go home have our doors not locked because they were open. So we were there till in the evening, nothing was happening. Every hour that comes into pass, we will be asking, is this possible? So in the evening around 7, 8, 9, we say, this will not happen. So we asked the prison officers, why not you come and lock our doors? So that was done. The following morning, nothing happened. The afternoon, nothing happened. But we are also receiving information that it will be on Friday. So Sereng Umar also said that it will be Friday. So on Friday, early hours of the morning,
as far as you know, was that divine inspiration?
Amunta itela londoro fomu ala la kito letibang.
Yes. Because
you believed.
Because why I say divine inspiration? You know, God has stated that inna kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadarin. That we are God. We have created everything into measure and proportion. That nothing will happen when it is not ordained to happen. And there is no way you can fast track or slow things that should happen.
No, I am referring to something else. I am referring to the pronouncement that it would be on Friday. Was that just guesswork or divine inspiration?
Between Yindum, Miraro Rondrambang for Allah Miroto, Allah Kitolem.
No, it's divine inspiration. Because the Spirit of Allah is in everybody. Because that's the Spirit of God in you. Only you believe in yourself that this, what I'm saying, is going to be the truth. Yes.
Okay. Interesting theory. I would not belabor the point. I would leave it at that. And I would ask you any further questions.
Okay,
I'll hand you over to the chair. You would answer their questions. And when you make your closing remarks, I'll ask you to address the question whether you regret having been involved in a plan to violently overthrow our government, our constitution. And what would you say to the serving soldiers as to your obligations towards respecting our constitution?
Sojarolu menu be uniform ko no be do ko la nyin tembeng ibe mune fala woli pour ila lotan kango nyanta kala muneti pour ka je ko na banko na sambaran sartolu e nyanta wolu bunyala nyamen.
And the duty to respect and accept the government and not to take judgment on your own hands by deciding to overthrow the government.
Anim fanan ka do ko mutako isi song ya mansakunda bunya bari ikanake ifaye kitindir lalti ka fo okola ibine la o kitindiro tamandila pour ka ferocity ka banko ka mansakunda boyindi.
Over to you, Mr. Chair.
Saying I call Sawindi Chairman Bulu.
Thank you, Council, and thank you, Mr. Camara, for coming to testify.
Chairman Council Numbara. Bari Mr. Camara abe fana numbara la isonta kana sede arola.
Thank you very much.
Council, I preempted I have two short questions, and the second one was already essentially asked by Council.
Nanyinin kar sutum fula da soto bari bitum Council kuntu tanyato nanyinin kar fula njanga munta yole nyinin katem bitum yewto dabo ndijele.
I would still pose the question,
bari hanim bimba nyinin kalar,
and it is this. When should soldiers overthrow constitutions?
Wati juma lon sojarulu nyanta constitutional boyindila.
I'm waiting for your answer, and then I'll pose the second one later.
Mbela jabiro le batukam bitu kola nsinan nyinin karfulanja okay.
By the virtue of our law,
amunta ntelalua lanya,
the soldiers are placed under the civilian government.
Katara civilian mansakundale koto menu manke sojarti.
And they should observe the rules of law.
Andu inyanta yelua bunya ko
respect civilian authority.
Andu inyanta wo civilian alfalu bunya lale.
So there shouldn't be any instant where soldiers should step in to overthrow a democratically elected president.
Oto simfa manyan natala damen sojaro lusiwuli ya fo ibe mansakunda bo indila me yalonko demokrasi mansakunda le ba loring.
I don't know whether I have answered that question.
Malom fongela onyinkaro jabile.
Well, you belong to one basket, and I'll tell you the second basket as well. The basket that you belong to, essentially, I'll tell you a story. When Sani Abacha died in Nigeria,
ibe sinsingo menkono sinsin fulalonde sinsin kilingo wolem nyintiko birin Sani Abacha fata Nigeria.
Abubakar took over as interim head of state.
Abubakar ye palaso ta ko atelem moti banko karafamemma.
The world was concerned, the sub-region was concerned about military rule in Nigeria yet again.
Kotake kabrin dunia fotundo nyimfango ibela deunda lota pro sojar mansakunda kana lo kotake Nigeria.
That included the United Nations.
Hani United Nations fango dabe okonole.
The Secretary General went to Nigeria.
Secretary General fango tata for Nigeria
to encourage the military to go back to the barracks.
Kanyin hammo dundi sojar lukono puru ye muru sojar korda lukono.
The 4 days that he spent in Abuja, meeting with all sectors of Nigerian society,
and in Nigeria la jama fanna jama le bengoke.
One of the interlocutors that he had
be mo kilimbi je men ya lonka ni men benta wolu nyim mo fanambe o molle kono ani men ya nyoje
was Yakubu Gowon.
Wala tata ke moti ka fo me Yakubu Gowon.
You remember Yakubu was a military leader, and he spent years as head of Nigeria during and after the civil war.
Ni hakilo ba kong Yakubu mu imman sakunda nyaton koltinu sojar nyaton ko adun ni hakilo ba kai sanji jama ke mararola kabring Nigeria mandung kelo kono fo kelo kola.
I was with the SG when he met with Yakubu Gowon for almost 4 hours.
Ni Secretary General benyo kanne brin ni Yakubu Gowon benta andun nadiamo atatale na nyojo tatale fomontoro wati sabafu wati nani.
Gowon was very clear, and that's the basket that you belong to now, that soldiers had absolutely no business interfering in politics or running countries. He said, look, we are not trained to run countries. We are trained for something else.
And you know, for it dabe osinsingo kono. Katu gawoni yenyine itandi ko. So jaro lumanke bundati menu nyanta mansakunda sambala andu imanke molti meni alonko etele nyanta bankola maralo kunya lu topotola. Ayo seneyandile.
We had several meetings with other leaders in Abuja. After 4 days of encouraging them to go back to the barracks, we left them to go back to New York via London, and we stopped in Accra.
Mbotaje utumole purka sai New York barbitung ntata London silo la kaji Accra.
And that's where the second basket comes in.
We
went from the airport to State House
State House
to meet with Jerry Rawlings.
Jerry Rawlings benta.
Jerry was in a different basket from Yakubu Gowon. He wasn't very happy. The United Nations was going to Nigeria to tell the military guys to go back to the barracks.
United Nations Nigeria
because Abubakar may not be aware what quote the boys below are thinking when you are going around telling the world, let's go back to the barracks, let's go back to the barracks.
Katu Abubakar amanyin kala mutak membelarin kodu mapurka fo sojarole alinga muru sojar solu kono alinga muru sojar solu kono.
So if you have answered my question, I think so. But we'll see. My second question relates to the NIA, the hearings that we are involved in at the moment. is it a fair characterization to refer to the NIA as the center for torture in the Gambia from your experience and your testimony?
Idunta men kono anila sede yaroto. Fonsa fono NIA lom kordati dami ya lonko. Jelom tajire ya nin tilimbali ya fango nyaton kabundati.
I want to answer this question in this way.
Nlafta nyinin karo jabila nyene nyama.
The NIAs,
NIA la mulu,
their complex or their grounds.
Itel mumo letimen la kulu
the ground exactly was a place where we were tortured at. So I don't know whether your question is talking about whether the NIAs themselves are the torturers. But I know it was the ground where people were taken to and they were beaten mercilessly. So that was my experience at the place then. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Both answers the question. Commissioners, if you have any questions. Yes, Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Carr, after Kala.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Camara, for your testimony. I have two questions I want to ask.
Inumbara Chairman, Inumbara Mr. Camara,
The first is in relation to the difference that you narrated earlier between Lang Tombong on the one hand and Mr. Singate and Mr. Ndur Cham on the other, on the differences as to whether or not to hand over to a transition government. What do you think explains that difference? Was it because Lang and Singate wanted to take over, the military to take over if the coup were to be successful?
Lafte nyinin kala dame wolem fatam fanso membe Lan Tombong ani ning Singate ning fenketema Ndur Cham tema ko wolem nyinti ko asikeno ko Lan Tombong itelu laftanyine la numpuru nim falingu keta sojaro liye kontine mararola wairi barbitung ye Ndur Cham la kumakam ye nyina foko e bebe man sakunda murundila civiliano lema fo wo fatam fanso ele jero molti bang.
Just a little bit, Mr. Chair. The question said transitional government.
Well,
the interpretation said civilian government. But the witness, when he talked about it, talked about a civilian government. So just to ensure that we are on the same wavelength on this. So you meant to say civilian government.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, according to Ndur Cham, he said the stance of Colonel Lantombon Tamba, that monkeys cannot walk and baboon eat. So if the armed forces should go into it, they have to take up the leadership, which was a different view of Ndur Cham. So I don't know whether that have answered your question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And the second is, how long did he want the the civilian government to last? And how was it going to be done? Was it through an election, or was somebody already identified? You might have said that, I might have missed that. What was somebody identified, and how was, if that was the case, how was he identified to head the civilian government?
Civilian mararo. O civilian mararo ibe kela nyadile fo ibe mole tombona membe nyaton kaya kela andrum fana wo mari me ba tombona wo be tombona nyadile membe kela civilian nyaton koti anim fana ibe wati jelle kela je ilawo mararo wuche onyin.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned that here. Whether I knew the guy that was in the mind of Ndur Cham for the staging of the coup to become the would-be president for the civilian government. I stated that he did not tell me during that time of our discussion. He said he will come to know this after everything at the end of the operations. Well, I knew the person in jail, who is Aliu Job.
Barinata amari long kasola watu membe kasola ikafole Aliu Job.
How long will that be? He did not tell me that.
Baribe watu memfanankela mararola amaufanyi.
Thank you. Have I answered that question?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Imam C lafte nyininkala.
Mr. Camara Trrc.
Thank you.
Ako Mr. Camara, thank you. We are thanking you for your suffering. You've said something in the Quran which you know Allah has made it. It is something that is true. This is what Allah has said, the quote He has just made. Whatever you see has been destined by me. However enjoyable it is, it has an end. However difficult it is, it also has an end. Secondly, you should be somebody who should thank Allah. What you've said and the way where you passed through, to the point where Allah has just helped you to be safe. Wherever you are, you should be giving advice to people, and you should be thankful to Allah. There are people who nobody has ever seen again, and it could have been. May Allah help you that you would have been one of those people. But thanks to Allah, Allah saved you from that fate. And still we will pray for you on that basis.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. May Allah accept our prayers and accept your prayers.
May Allah
grant a blessing for your family, yourself, and everybody here.
But it is not.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the document that was exhibited, the video that was played, with your permission, should be, if accepted in the record, should be Exhibit 170.
Yes, indeed, the request is granted, Council.
Yes. I just also want to put in a document, Amnesty International report of 2007 on the Gambia, indicating that the evidence suggests that Mr. Camara and others were tortured during their investigations at the NIA. It's an amnesty report. I just want to put it in as a fact that was recognized by international human rights bodies, and if accepted, should be Exhibit 171.
Request them that also is granted.
Or 170A, Exhibit 170A.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr.
Chair. I was hoping that Camara Kunda would add to his prayers that Allah help us not to have any more torture centers in the Gambia. He didn't include that.
I will do that, sir.
But Mr. Camara, if you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed to make them now.
Ne kuma soto ibe la kumo kumfala kuma kangulu menu la ibe la filaka kuma kangulu menu banke jang silang isila o kumo kumfaran kachalufo.
I want to seize this singular honor and privilege
mbenyim bunya ning horomo tala
to thank the TRRC
purka TRRC numbara
for taking this daunting challenge
purka nyinku ko nyindoku kolembata
to be part of the composition
purka tara kolu kono
to hear from, victims,
porque lamoy molu la kumol la mantoro lata mennu kanu
and perpetrators
ani mennu fanalo keta wo tilimbaloluti
of issues that had happened
pour kolu mennu ketanu
in this country from
nyimbanko kan
I think 1995
kabo 1995
to 2017 January 2017
kana January karo kan 2017 sango kono
I want to thank you very much
mbali numbara la kende ke
for a job well done.
Pour doku kendo men aliyake anali bake kan
Because at any time people are doing
katu wati nimmolu be kula
a good job.
Sako doku kendo.
There will be people around also calling them, whether secretly or openly, trying to frustrate them in their in the way they are doing their job.
Fomolu fananu yesoto aketab kullo kono tibang aketab keno nyala bang fo molu fanali yesoto men ya lonko wollebe tarla kuma jawolu fo kan wo molu ma walla doku laluma puribe doku kendo men ke kanten katu amandi ye toliye.
And the other party will be there to precinct the actions of the TRRC also.
Andum bunda dul fanal betarla je menu betarla TRRC jaikang.
So I want to say that thank you for the job well done.
Wotonde lafta fola al nimbara alla doku kendo kan.
I believe
lata nyinnako
that TRRC
ko TRRC
after hearing some of these heinous revelations
ni la moy nyi masiba ko dolu la menu keta
will serve as
molbekela moli e kuleti
as things that can prevent a recurrence of the similar nature of those things which had happened.
Men sike sababoti men sina nyim ku fasongol la sayin kango bay koteke nyim banko kam pour in nyango nana kanake koteke.
This will remind me of the student demo.
Nyimben hakilo bulandi la talibo la balambaya la.
This which I had taken part initially.
Me yalon ko ndunta ko kono nunga folo dulato.
And I was calling here to testify.
Andu yem kumandi nanjang hani fonnata nga sede yaro ke akwala.
I believe if there is any issue,
lata la ko nin ko kundi mbiji
the state apparatus or securities
bankola mansakundala bundalu meni alon ko be loring
look into the way and manner how best to handle that.
Inyanta sila kendolu nim ferolu jubelale inyanta wo kolu mutala nyamin wala be sambala nyamin.
What had happened had happened.
Men keta wo ketale.
But it's for the Gambians to come together and say to give that hands of forgiveness, shake hands and forgive one another on issues that had happened before.
Bari anyinyata fanan Gambian kolu nga muru nyoka ngana ngambulodi nyola nga nyoju be nga yamfa nyoye nga kata nga kengani ya kilinti kote.
Because I've heard
katu ngani moile
during the testimonies of different people
mo jamala sede yaro kono menu manke kilinti
what had transpired during the student demo.
Men keta talibo law balamba ya kono.
And I was part of it.
Ndefa ba kono num.
I have said here exactly what I did during that moment. And that's what I believe also. But we are praying that may that be a bygone.
For ala sake kuti mem keta kunun kuote ya tambita.
Not happen again.
For anyongo nena kanake koteke.
And Gambia be a peaceful place.
For Gambia sike kaira bankutin tolu beyembe tarla dameng.
So that the Gambia can be developed to where we all expect it to be.
For Gambia se yiru anga futa dinkirato mbela fita futandila dameng.
Then having said that, I'm now coming to the issue of the foil coup, which was 21st March 2006.
Kana kudeta bayring to March karotel muanen killing men ketanun 2006.
Yes.
Ha.
We have undergone series of torture.
But it
is our duty also to learn to forget those people who have perpetrated that on us. I've mentioned here the like of Lieutenant Malik Jata,
Lieutenant Malik Jata,
Amadou Baji, Mustafa Sane, and the other junglers who were then around. I've mentioned that of Omar Koli Jagaid. I've forgiven them all. Malik Jata, Amadou Baji, and others were under the custody of the military police.
Malik Jata anin dolu benung military police la Morocco.
I am the head of the military police.
Military police la nyaton ko le totumo.
And I used to visit their various places where they are detained at.
Nkate kumpabo ye muta ye sindi damen nutonung.
If I want, I can say, okay, this was what had happened to me in jail.
And I
also torment them while they are under custody. But I did not do that. I used to pray for them. Because they are human beings. We are all human beings. They can make errors. And they can change also. So I have forgiven them wherever they are at. For what had happened to my family during my incarceration, the first days I met with my wife at home. I told him with the family members to forgive me for the problems that they underwent through, because it was me that has probably the cause of that to them. Yes, the question was whether, okay, that is about the state securities and the management of issues that confront them.
Well, I
want to say here that the Gambians, we the Gambians, are individualists. When issues happen, people tend to blame those who are involved in it. And they will not generalize on issues what had happened. So that's another problem that is disturbing the Gambians. We should like our country. We should love our country. And we should understand it's the Gambia that we have. May Allah make everybody, every Gambian to think in the way I'm saying, that we should work together collectively to ensure peace and stability in the country. The issue of whether I've regretted that whether it's the stand of the armed forces to overthrow the democratically elected government. Yes, I've regretted. As of now, if I had not been in jail for 9 years, 4 months, 13 days, by now I would have also proudly say that I have my PhD in any discipline. I am now starting. So that's a waste in my life. In the aspect of knowledge, in terms of this worldly knowledge. For the deen, probably, that is okay. But I have now started with, my university program.
Nganna university program o karango da mutale.
And I believe that will equip me
Ngalonko woben sembentu yalale
to become a professional.
Purkana ke lonna ti buhabo
my professionalism.
Purkana londo kidimandi.
In issues that will serve as challenges to me in the future.
Kuoluto men yalonko sininsa mo isina kenya kole adult.
I would call upon every Gambian, especially the securities, that any government that is in place, the securities should be subservient to them.
Security olu olem sojarol nin kantabunda kotengulu inyanta sonne male.
And then we should respect the authority of the civilians.
Andu civilian olu menu be nyaton kapalasol to ngebunya.
By that way,
wasilo kang
will ensure peace and stability.
Cairo nin tenkunge sabati.
We should focus on to the job that we are meant to do.
I'll leave
the governance system with the government. I think this is what I have. My family's members were seriously affected. Especially my wife, my mom and dad, my younger brothers and sisters, and the well-wishers with loved ones also. I could remember when I was arrested, my dad was sick then. I was the one who was taking care of him, teaching him. I took him from Janjambure to Jundum. So when I was arrested, 2006. 2006 he passed away 2008.
2008.
And then my wife was not, was moving up and down. It has disturbed my children's education. They were moved from one place to the other. We are staying at the barracks then at Jundum. When this thing happened, they were evicted out of the barracks. So a relative family member somewhere else in Jundum was the one who has accommodated them. And because of that relocations, that has also affected their schools. They were, moved to Bundung. Then my father was moved back to Janjambure. Because there are a lot of allegations which had happened during the time of the investigation. There was no zone that built up which indicated that Ndurucham has given me money and had taken this money to Janjambure. So intelligence or whatever people were sent into Janjambure to verify that fact also. My people were put into that fear, factor. And my family, my wife, my brothers, my children were being monitored everywhere. My son, who is currently sitting here with my daughter, who is not here with me.
Ndinke o membe siri mfeja nyintembeng anindimuso menti jang nyintembeng.
They were disturbed
akete de umbati otumo
when they were going to school.
Hani bitaka nkara muto tumo.
I could remember they used to come and visit me at jail.
Kadun hakilo baka kana njubele kasola.
When they came, I advised them.
Birina tange ya mari.
that, as a human being, they must stand on their feet to ensure that they achieve whatever they want to achieve. At the age of 9 to 10, the other one was at the age of 6 to 7. That they shouldn't rely on me, because I'm taking off the stage. Who knows what will happen next? And then these were issues that were disturbing them. When they visit me, it will take them another 2 weeks for them to come back to their senses and cooperate in school. So I told my wife that I don't want to see them. Only on summer holidays that I would like to see them. So they visit me one in every year. That aside, my wife will be, people will call him and say, call her rather and say, anything. Your wife is a traitor. Your husband is a traitor. Your husband is this, that, and that. And that, he's going to be killed. So within that 90 days of my stay in Communicado with my family, it was a terrible situation for my wife and children. To my mom and everyone, they were very close to me. But that was it. That is destiny. It was that destiny that I told Jata, which has come to pass. Like I said, many people were calling here before me. That time it was me. Who knows who will come next? So those people who were there were also called upon. Malik himself was also called upon. So that is Allah. This is the only Gambia we have. It's a small country. And we must all love the Gambia. What happened? It is us, the Gambians, that should come together and cement the differences. And live together as one. If we allow differences to come to a level that will, create, terrible situations in this country, it is us who are going to feel it. The Senegalese are not going to feel it for us. The Americans will not go into feel it. It is the Gambians that are going to feel it. So let's don't think about on tribal lines. Let's think about ourselves as Gambians. And we come together to ensure there is peace and stability. I thank you all for your attention. May God bless us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Camara, for your testimony. You were here 25th of September 2019.
Mr. Camara ila CDRO kama ina tanunjang karotil muanin lulu September 2019.
And you're here today to come and help us fulfill the mandate to create a historical record of what happened in this country.
Bi fanang imuruta nang purukantul makoi purka kudo ku memmu tariko tilindinguti mente fasari kala me yalonko wala munyim banko la quality mennu ketanun jang pura ay sa ay lankenama.
For that we thank you very much.
Wakamala mbe numbarala.
And for your very, very good concluding remarks as well. Were you asking for the floor?
Yes,
please go ahead.
Sorry, sir. There is something that I would like to mention here. It's about my health condition. If I can have medical attention, I think I will appreciate that much. Yes. And the other issue is, I think I've discussed it somewhere else. When I was in jail, my plot of land in Jambur, I think. Jalambang. And that of my younger brother, Ali Camara. And that of my younger brother also, Bakar Camara, were all taken away. This was done simply because they thought I would not be coming out. So I don't know which area, because I went to meet Mondo and Fati, Alaji Fati. But the advice given was that it was part of the plot which were under the commission, which were under the assets of the former president, and they were under commission.
Between Wukorda Kenolu, Ibe Nundo, Ya Jamile Abulo Laul Bekan, but between Sain Yafoko, Ibebe Commission la Carolela.
Yes.
Thank you. The Commission takes some note of these additional points, Mr. Camara.
Numbara Commission Fanambe Jubero Kelale Elanim Kumakangulu Yemenu Lafateng.
This brings us to the end of the proceedings today. We will meet tomorrow morning, sharp 10 o'clock. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Yeah. So.